Oh, one more. Okay. Well, hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? Good. You can give a
I went
thumbs
to my
up.
first board meeting yesterday.
Very exciting, Gwen.
Although, can I tell you,
Welcome.
I'm finding we hold it at one of our members' offices, and they've got, this fancy setup where they gave me a keyboard and they've got, I think, an owl camera already mounted and stuff. And I hit record on the meeting, but I just logged into our account and there's a summary, but there's no recording. So,
Mm,
so it says
okay.
it
You
didn't do
live
it
and you
to the
learn.
cloud. It did it, I guess, to the local, which I don't know how to access. So being being prepared, I also did voice recorder on my phone. So now I just need to download that and put it in Otter and get a transcription.
Look
So
at you. Wow. That was
I just,
impressive.
this goes back to the days when you'd go to trade show and I'd carry what I needed on a CD disc as well as a printout, as well as email it to myself, just because you never know, what's going to fail you because it's
Good
always
for you.
something.
Good for you.
So
Nice. Um, well, Gwen, without further ado, we can introduce you. Gwen is one of our newest executive directors in Metro Washington. I believe Sherry is on the call as well, and she's from Washington. And I don't think any others that are super new. Aaron, you've been on a call before. Um, Nick's an old trusty. Um, yeah. Okay, cool. Well, to be completely frank, I didn't come up with a oh, hold on, admitting more people. I didn't come up with a an icebreaker question, but I did want to more because I was going to ask the two ladies, Jerry, Sherry, and Gwen, just to introduce themselves and say a little bit about them, how they got into ASA, maybe a smidgen of their background, and just kind of what they're most looking forward to in their positions at ASA Metro Washington and then ASA Washington State. So, Gwen, I'll let you, you were already chatting. So, if you want to introduce yourself and say a little bit about yourself.
sure. Yeah, I just dove in. I was going to say a good icebreaker question this time of year because the NFL preseason's starting. You could have
Yes,
everybody say who their team is.
there you
So,
go.
and I will start with mine is not the Redskins, Washington football team, Commanders, whatever the heck they're calling themselves these days. I am born and raised in Western New York, so I am a Bills fan.
Oh,
So started watching the Hard Knocks on Bills training camp last night and was getting all I have season tickets, so I share them with my cousins and still go up for the Bills.
fun.
So yeah, so I grew up there. I went to school in Virginia Tech, which is how I ended up in the Northern Virginia area.
Cool. I work there.
Oh, you went to Tech?
No, I worked at Virginia Tech.
Really? In
Yeah.
Blacksburg?
Yeah, in Blacksburg.
Oh, it's in the Blue Ridge Mountains.
It
Everybody, it's
is.
just a
Yes. Yeah.
gorgeous campus. It's that's it. We'll have to touch base offline on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ended up in the Northern Virginia area. Probably got into the association space about 20 years ago. I worked for the National Association of Home Builders, which I'm sure is why I was very attractive for this role. I spent 12 years there, started out in public relations, public affairs, and then moved over to member services, and I ran the Remodelers Council. So it was basically like being an executive director just under the umbrella of the larger NAHB Federation.
Yeah.
Left there and went to a pet advocacy trade association where, because pets are my other passion. I'm a mom to a golden retriever. And then a pet charity that unfortunately didn't work out. They eliminated my position. And so when I saw this posted, I thought, oh, I really enjoyed my time at NAHB and, have a lot of knowledge and contacts there. So ended up at ASA MW. Oh, look at
I was
Barbara.
going to say
What a
Barbie's dog
cutie.
heard you talk about it.
Yeah.
Wanted to come say hi.
Well, that's the thing. When I was in the pet sector, hearing birds chirp and cats walk across keyboards and dogs, it was all very well accepted. So, and I've actually got two here today. So if they start barking, my apologies in advance. So,
How fun. Well, thank you, Gwen. It's lovely to meet you. Hopefully, we'll get to meet you at SubExcel or And
Yes, that's on my list today is to book my hotel because the deadline's coming up and book my flights.
perfect. Good. Sherry, would you like to introduce yourself?
I have not had enough caffeine. You guys are all in another time zone, so
I know, I apologize.
you have a lot more energy. You're getting ready for lunch. I'm just like easing into my
True.
second cup here. Um, so Sherry Jennings. I'm a New Jersey native, so I grew up there, moved out to Tahoe in the 90s, and then ended up in Washington State around 2000. While in Tahoe, what did I do? I went to school after being buried under snow for 4 hours. I kind of changed the direction of my life and ended up going back to school, got my journalism degree out of the University of Nevada in Reno. And so I've been in media and communications ever since then. I really like that area. When I was out on Whidbey Island, I ended up after being the publisher of a newspaper, ended up or heading up the Langley Chamber of Commerce, and I really appreciated sort of that membership organizations, serving members, growing members, doing that business development. And when I took over that position, it was like 3 days after Lehman tanked. So it became, part cheerleader, part therapist, and then, charged ahead in tourism and all that good stuff. So I've been in comms for a long time, business development. Just recently, I had a conversation with Melissa Rossi, who's the board president here, and we're friends. We did some work together in economic development in our little city over here in Snohomish, and I really appreciated working with her. And yeah, we're just having a conversation kind of about what was going on, and she said, I just happened to mention, yeah, I've got a whole bunch of different contracts and different people I consult with, and had some space and never even thought that she'd come back to me a couple weeks later and say, hey, would you be interested in stepping in? And I was like, this would be great. And I'm excited about learning about ASA, about the members contributing and just serving the board and the community, our industry. I think it's really fun. So it's a great learning experience for me. On a personal note, I have a daughter who's 23. Her name is Lily. She's very close to me, like literally down the hall, um, in the current environment that we have, but I love having her here. We have a lot of fun with her. With her two cats. They may show up at any time. I almost every now and then I feel like we're back at the beginning of COVID when cats are scooting across keyboards and doing all that kind of stuff. So every now and then they'll surprise me. And then just a little bit about myself. My passions are definitely motorcycling, and people are always surprised to find out that I'm a motorcycle instructor. So my weekends are packed with new riders and getting them on the roads and teaching a lot of good safety out there and being able to give back also to a sport that absolutely has filled my heart over many years. So yeah, so it's kind of fun and kind of what I do, and I don't know, have a lot of good friends and a lot of good projects, and so this is one of them, and super excited to be here. So thank you.
Yeah,
Always a
that's
with you
awesome.
guys.
Thank you
Cheers.
so much. What a fun little bonus feature about you, the motorcycling. How cool. That's neat.
Super.
Well, thank you, ladies, for introducing yourselves, and welcome to our ASA Executive Director community. Allison says that she loves to ride motorcycles, so welcome. Um, okay, well, moving on to our first agenda item, we're going to have Katie Pippin from the national office give us an update. So, Katie, you've got the floor.
Good morning, everybody. I'm not going to take up too much time today. I basically just want to remind everybody if you haven't sent me your updated board for the 25-26, please send it over, even if it's still the same. We noticed that there was a few that hadn't been updated. So even though it is the same, if you tell me it's the same and it still isn't correct, it'd be awesome to have the information if you haven't already sent it. So I would really appreciate that. And the only other item I have is about the events. Matt said he can't be here, but please, please, please talk to everybody about submitting the event form that was sent out. If you need it, let me know. It's also in the info hub. If you don't have it, I did send it out, but if you didn't get it, or if you don't have it and you want me to resend it, please let me know. But it's really important that we get the event information from the chapters. It's really going to help with FASA and where they want to move with in that direction. So any information would be extremely helpful and appreciated.
Awesome. Does anyone have any questions for Katie about any of that, or if they need the form to be resent? It might just be advantageous, Katie, if you want to resend it again to everybody, just to kind of get it out there, get it back in our inbox.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it. I'll mark it down for I'll put it on my to-do list. But if you guys don't have any questions, or I will let you move on and have fun without me.
Thank you. Well, excited to see you at Sub Excel.
I'm excited to see everyone that I haven't got to meet yet. So I hope everybody can make it or try to make it. I know that you have updates. I won't steal your thunder, but I appreciate you guys, and I hope you have
Hey,
a great rest of your day.
Katie, this might be a question for you or for everybody, but my president asked me what night is chapter night because he wants me to look into setting up a dinner for our chapter at Sub Excel.
I will, Gwen, I will look into it. I'll see if I know that it is pretty packed, full with events and education, and activities. So I will dig in. I'll reach out to Jessica and see if there's any timeline, and I'll include you on the email.
Okay, so there isn't a formal chapter night.
I mean, this is my first one too, so I
Oh,
may be wrong about that. I'm not gonna assuming is bad out of experience. So
It's not
I'll get more
official.
information.
It's not official, but I believe be with the shift in I think it's Wednesday evening. There's not a an evening program or anything like that. And so it's kind of like an unofficial after the networking event, after the golf tournament and all of that. Typically a chapter can get together and they'll grab dinner or maybe grab a drink together. But I believe it's Wednesday on this one because Thursday is the awards dinner and awards reception. So Wednesday evening typically is um, for this week's schedule or for this sub Excel schedule is when there's an opening if you guys would like to get together. But Katie, please make sure you can send that to Jessica too and send that out just to confirm that with everyone so we're all on the same page. But thank you. Good
No
question,
problem.
Gwen. Thanks.
I will I'll get confirmation on that and then I'll send that along. I'll put that information in the email along with the event sheet so you guys have it.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great day, guys. Enjoy.
Thanks. Okay, so in light of Sub Excel, just a reminder about the room block is expiring on August 15th. So make sure to get your room block in. That's going to end, and then you'll be basically at the mercy of whatever the cost of the hotel is. So I believe it's a pretty good rate at 209. So get that in. Does anyone have any questions about Sub Excel, about timing, room block, any of that stuff?
I have a question about Sub Excel.
Yes.
So I was just curious, because I know I've talked to you about it a little bit, but for I believe it's Wednesday, that's the day that we have like educational sessions, and then we're going on like the tour of like the museum or something. Do you know how long that's going to be? Because I believe it starts like at noon, but it doesn't say exactly how long it is. I just want to get an idea.
I don't know the exact timing of it in the past. I'd say the past 5 years, they do tend to wrap it up around like 4 or 5 p.m.
Okay.
So my guess is that it's probably going to fall in line with that as well. Um,
Hmm.
Libby's not currently on the call, but I believe we could get that confirmed with Jessica or Libby. They tend to do that because, like we were talking about earlier, having that unofficial chapter night where you can get together or grab a meal together, or drink, and just kind of reconvene or reconnect. So I'd say between 4 and 5 is usually when it's over. Yeah. And that's typically because they also simultaneously do a golf outing, and
Hmm.
golf tends to take four-ish, 5 hours, depending on how many
Right.
people. So that would be my guess at it. But yeah.
Okay, cool. And then after that, it'd be kind of like your own free time in a way, since it doesn't
Yeah.
seem to be anything planned.
Yeah, if you have anyone else from your chapter that's going, or in the past, like some of us executive directors who didn't really have anyone coming or didn't have any plans with their chapter, we would get together and grab dinner. Or, yeah, it's kind of like whatever you would like to make of it that evening. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Um, I did want to announce that we did get to award three SubExcel scholarships, so that's really exciting for the council and the scholarship fund. So we will give information about that later. They've all been notified and are excited to attend. So congratulations to everyone who has received it if you're on the call today. And yeah, any other questions about SubExcel, what to expect? Anything like that?
Mm, You know, t- attire. What do people just business casual? And then what about for the Thursday awards?
Sure. Yeah. Other people are more than welcome to chime in here, but yeah, for the regular is just kind of business casual. I think that that's a pretty good recollection of what we've seen in the past. The awards one is boots and bling. And I mean, whatever you want to interpret that as, really. In the past, they've basically been thematic. So they've had different themes. Like I think in New Orleans, obviously, was like a Mardi Gras masquerade. There have been gosh, what were the other ones? Las Vegas was just like Las Vegas. It was just, cocktail attire and fun. And yeah, so I'd say like a cocktail attire or whatever you want to do. Honestly, no shorts. I don't know. I don't know. But there's not really a strict dress code whatsoever. It's pretty business casual as it relates to any of the meetings or the educational forums. And yeah, just be comfortable.
Okay, good shoes. That's
There you
par
go.
for
It
the
looks like
course
a
for
pretty
anything.
expansive property, so probably good shoes is wise for sure. Any other questions about SubExcel? Well, awesome. As I mentioned in the email, we will not be having an ED share call digitally. And there's not a specific time for us to do ED share. We will have an ED council meeting, which is for everyone to attend. And usually during that time, we'll talk about some official meeting business, and then we talk about all kinds of things that relates to executive directorship, if you will. And we'll basically get to chat about that. So there's not a specific ED share time, but the entirety of the event of SubExcel is really a bunch of information, education sharing, and just getting to hang out with one another and have conversations and kind of organically come up with things like that we usually talk about formally in ED share. So we hope that you all can make it and you guys can be a part of it. It's a really wonderful time and definitely worth the time and the money invested in it. So okay, if there's no other questions, we'll move on. Um, okay, next up, Gia had a question about the ED liaisons. Gia, I'm not sure if you wanted to chime in or just have me ask the question, but I can give you the floor of asking your specific questions and yeah.
It wasn't necessarily a question, it was just a check-in to see how everybody's doing with their liaisons.
Okay,
And
sure.
if somebody didn't have one,
Hmm.
let's get you one. If and
Yeah,
sometimes liaisons don't click with their EDs and they need to be switched out, and that's okay too. And so, yeah, I'm just doing an update on liaisons. I haven't, I didn't see one last month, and I don't think we did one in June. So that's just why I did that, ask that.
Gwen, I got your email about that, so I'll be in connect with you outside of the ED share call, and we'll get you connected with someone and see that. If anyone is interested in volunteering right now on the spot, you're welcome to with Gwen. So feel free to chime in. But Gwen is interested in having one. But yeah, if anyone is
This
interested,
is Jen Swinney. I'm happy to take Gwen. I'd love to.
okay, perfect. I'll make a note of that.
Why, thank you, Jen.
You're in great hands, Gwen.
Fellow redheads band together, baby. I'm driving right now, so I can't show you, but we're in good company, girl. We got this.
Nice. Nick, do you have your hand raised?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you all. Jeremy is super accessible for me. He calls me. I think he probably has a calendar event. He calls me once a month just to check in. What do you all want from your board liaisons? Like, what information are you asking them for or using them for? I think ASA National super communicative. I know they've done a lot to fix things. The fact that Katie exists and Matt's always accessible. I mean, most of my questions for National go directly to Katie and Matt. But when it comes to the board, I assume there's a lot more going on that I probably just don't know about yet. So I'm interested to see what you guys talk to your liaisons about.
Personally, my liaison has never reached out to me ever, even with the new system, FYI.
Have you tried to reach out to your liaison? Like, have you tried the opposite way and see how that goes?
No, it was my understanding that they were to make the first, that they were to reach out to me.
Oh, okay.
But should I contact Matt? Like, what should I do? You think I should reach out to them?
We could probably kind of get you connected with them if I can send you his email or I can send you an email to them to say to kind of make an introduction and then see where it goes from there. So maybe there's just maybe confusion on whether who was supposed to be the first introductory or something, but then maybe see how it goes from there if there's any follow-up.
I mean, I can definitely reach out to them.
Oh.
Okay.
It was
Or
just a
to Matt.
question. I just didn't know if it was if we were reaching out to our liaisons as well. So I was just
Yeah,
asking.
good question. I mean, I think it's great to have an update on them and see. I mean, to be honest, I personally don't have calls or like much connection. I know them personally because they're part of our chapter, but as far as like updates and things like that, it's not, you know, on a regular basis at all. But I imagine there's others like Nick was talking about. He has a good connection with his. So does anyone else have any connection with their national liaison?
I do. I have
Sorry,
two here. This is Gia. Sorry, I have two here, and it's like you, Lorraine, it's not a scheduled talk. It's because they are involved with ASA, so I talk to them on a regular basis. But it's not like a scheduled official board liaison conversation.
Yeah.
It's
Okay. And was it Jen, were you about to say something or was that someone else?
oh no, that was me. I apologize. I wanted to make sure we've switched over to talking about the board ones now, right? What I just volunteered for was the executive director
Yes,
liaisons.
correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
just double checking. Sorry.
No,
Yeah.
you're correct. You volunteered for the
Okay.
ED
Wanted
liaison.
to make sure I didn't like raise my hand like, yeah, I'm on the board. Yeah. No, no, no.
You're
I've
good.
got three liaisons and don't hear from any of them if that makes anybody feel any better. So but
No,
I just
that's good
figure if yeah,
information.
if I have a problem, I would reach out to them. So, but I just didn't want anybody to feel badly. Like, I don't know that the liaison program is going to continue on the national level because I think they're recognizing that it may not be as effective as they were hoping.
Well, Jen, you're not going to be that easy. I'm going to be reaching out to you. So,
Oh, no, no, no.
That's good. That's what
Happy to
it's
do
for.
that. Yeah,
I know.
we're talking about the national board members are supposed to also be liaisons to each of the EDs, and I don't know that that's happening, is what we're joking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I guess my
Gia,
board
to
president is also on the ASA national board, so I assume I hear everything from him.
yeah.
So,
Gia, to clarify, did you meant the National ED Liaison Program, or did you mean the executive director?
No, I was talking about our program, the executive director program, not
Okay,
the national board one. So yeah, but I
we
mean,
can we can
it's
talk
all
about both.
liaisons.
Okay, then shifting gears, Nick, I see your hand. One second. how is everyone doing if you have a executive director to executive director liaison program? It's kind of the more seasoned executive directors with their newer executive directors. Gwen, like you said, we've hooked you up with Jen, and we'll get that connected. Any other people, Sherry? I know that you're new. Is that something that you're interested in doing and having?
Yes, I would love to have a seasoned ED help me out. So if someone's willing,
All right, I
I'll
can
bug them.
get you connected with that. Nick, sorry, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, two things. In response to the question you just asked, I feel super comfortable like reaching out to all of you. It's been an amazingly welcoming environment. I don't hesitate to reach out. I know some of you have gotten more emails and phone calls from me than you bargained for, but I really appreciate like the support between all of you. So I think this is like a really organic network that really helps each other out and doesn't hesitate to want to do so. My question when I raised my hand was what what purpose does the board liaison uh what did that serve? Like, what was the genesis of the thought to put that together? What are they trying to accomplish? Like, what are they even really trying to share? Like, I just don't know what the goal was because I wasn't part of that process. So I would just be interested to know like what the goal is, and maybe I can, work with Jeremy a little bit better on that.
Honestly, I think the initial goal was the connectivity between local chapter and national as a whole, and getting more of a national presence on a local level. Um, Others might be able to chime in more, but I believe at its root, I think that was really what they were trying to get is a connectivity between national and local and getting kind of everyone not necessarily on the same page, but just getting that connectivity together. And yeah. So, I mean, it definitely seems like Jeremy is doing that. He's reaching out and really in whatever capacity you needed, we were trying to have, I believe, a national presence at maybe some of the events, if they lived in a relative area to where your chapter is. So that's my perception and understanding of what the goal was. If someone else has an input on that, you're welcome to pipe in.
This is Gia. I'll give a little bit of background. Um, for many years, the national board and the council felt like there was a large disconnect between what goes on with them and what goes on with us. So, the board liaison program originally started like 10 or 12 years ago. And every year, each chapter would get a different liaison, and it was based as a way for the ED to get assistance outside or have a resource or have somebody to go to outside of their local chapter and local board. So just i.e. example, if me and my board were clashing on something major and you needed opinions or assistance or something on that side, your board liaison was somebody that you could talk to about your concerns. And the board liaison would try to assist with whatever, and that's just a bad situation, a need help situation. The other side of it was to get assistance with event feedback and whatnot. Jeff Banker years ago, bless his heart, he's not with us anymore, but he was a liaison. He came to Albuquerque and went to one of my luncheons, and then we sat down and talked about how the luncheon went, how it differed from the luncheon for his chapter. What he took some things back, I took some things back to my board, but it's just to have a relationship with somebody from national. Not all chapters are represented on the national board. I know that that's a goal that they were working towards, but that was one of the big things was there's only this many board members and we have this many chapters. We need to reach the chapters we don't have representation from. So it's just a friendship. It's not necessarily I don't even know what else to say. It's just a friend is what it is.
Both of those things really help a lot. Thank you guys for filling in the blanks. I think to me, it sounds like really opening the lines of communication, making sure that we have more support at the national level, a resource for collaboration, support, potentially for actually coming to our chapter and really giving advice. That sounds like beautiful and wonderful. To me, it sounds like it's probably failing pretty miserably. And so I think the concept from the board is a good one, but I think that the message it sends, what I hear, because this is probably the fourth or fifth meeting that we've had where people say, I haven't heard from anybody, I haven't heard from anybody. Like that communication, I think, sounds like a really great idea and should exist. And probably the board needs to be held to account. So I don't know what needs to happen there, but if we're going to do a better job of that, and if the message is going to come through, resoundingly and with positivity instead of like pretty negative, like I've been hearing for a few months. I'm not sure what steps need to be taken, but we probably need to do a better job or just not do it because it sounds like
Yeah.
it's not really working.
I definitely plan on as the council chair have will be in the board meeting and they ask for an update basically on executive directors. And so that's going to be a part of, something I talk about is, pretty consistently there's a few here and there that have some good connectivity and communication, but overall it seems like the program is not necessarily working as it's intended to be. So yeah, so if anyone has anything specific they would like in that, or if they have anything they would like to, add about it, and good or bad or indifferent, feel free to email me as well about your experience or maybe what you would like the experience to be. So we could have a bit of, I don't know, some teeth to it, I guess, in what we're talking about in our meeting at Sub Excel.
Lorraine,
Hey, this is
oh,
Angie.
sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna throw something out there. So, um, during my first Sub Excel in Fort Worth, I had the opportunity to, and this is why I can't go this year. I'm sorry, I'm gonna miss you guys at Sub Excel. We've just got so much going on. I can't get there this year. But the first Sub Excel that I went to in Fort Worth, I spent time in the hospitality suite. I would encourage you, if you have time, to go to the hospitality suite and get to know the members outside of the EDs, get to know some of those members, because that's where I really got to sit down with Carrick and Rusty and Andrew and several of the other actual like members, board members. I got to know Ray. I got to know several other people. And so when I was telling them, they would ask me questions. So how are things going on in Baton Rouge? What's happening? And I would tell them, sometimes my struggles, and I'd tell them my good stuff. And right then and there, Andrew and Rusty said, hey, we'll come to your chapter and talk to your members. Like, we're happy to talk to them. And, being actual tradesmen that are doing it, I'm dealing with the members and the board members that I'm struggling with. And I was like, yeah, man, that's great. So that was in like what, the March or something, that later that year at my big board meeting in July that we had, I called them and Rusty and Andrew flew down and they met with my board and they talked about, the pay if paid stuff and the retainage stuff that meant a lot to my board that I didn't necessarily know a lot about, but my board members did.
Yeah.
And so when they came and talked about what they did in their state and with their chapters and how they were able to move their advocacy, that lit a fire under my board. And suddenly my board was like, well, we want to do that too. And it kind of gave me as an ED leverage to say to my board, okay, if these are some things that you want, then you guys have to step up because I can't do everything. You're the guys that are boots on the ground. You're the guys that are doing this. Y'all need to get more involved in advocacy. I can't be the only one at the Capitol.
Yeah.
Y'all need to get involved in these things. I can't be the only one doing it. If we need more members to do X, Y, and Z, then y'all need to help me. So that really started my board getting more involved with things. So that kicked off a huge conversation. And then when we had Sub Excel in New Orleans, it was like suddenly everybody knew Rusty and Andrew, and then they started introducing them to Dick and to this person and this person and this person. So it wasn't just me having the relationship. Now my board members were developing those relationships. So it was huge to get in there as the ED, as the only representative of my chapter at the time, to get in and talk to some of those board members. I went to the hospitality suite, I had a drink, I started having conversations. So make it your business to talk to the other members, not just that. And I would say that, you know, my liaison, my board liaison, we just started hearing from him in second half of last year. And it was like he's from Mississippi. And so we started finally really connecting. It wasn't until Lloyd's funeral that I was able to kind of really get on Brian and say, okay, we need to start doing this. But I made it my job. I didn't wait for him to come to me. I didn't wait for the board to come to me. I knew this liaison thing existed, but I also know that sometimes my liaison, it can't always give me the information that we need. Sometimes it's the other board members. And guess what? They're all like willing to jump out and help.
Yeah.
So make it your business to get out there and start talking to some of these folks, because if you wait for them to come to you, yeah, it's going to fail miserably.
Thanks, Angie. That was good advice. And Nick, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I just briefly wanted to say thank you. I think Lorraine and Angie, you guys are like right on the money. I think coming to the table, like collaboratively offering, you know, solutions and saying like, how can we actually make this fruitful? Like, what does this look like? What do we need from each other? Like you were saying at SubExcel, like I think that's a great idea. So I can't wait to see what comes from that. And I'm happy to be a part of that process, because I really love the idea. So I would love for it to succeed.
Cool.
Nick, I will say I got an edge on you. See, we in Louisiana. So all I had to do was say, if you come a day early, I will feed you until you are so full of Cajun food. So I made it worth their while to come see me because we had the good food.
Can I take you up on that?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Everybody can come over here and see me anytime you want.
Awesome. Okay, so any other questions? I know we kind of focused a bit more on the National ED Liaison Program. Any questions about the, we'll say local, but the Executive Director to Executive Director program? Is anyone on the call interested in taking Sherry on as a liaison?
Lorraine, I'll take her. This is Gia, if she'll have me.
All right. I will write that down and I'll get that
Thanks, Gia. I'll make it painless, I promise. I hope.
I'm sure we'll be just fine.
Any other questions as it relates to the ED liaison program? Okay, moving on. Gwen had a question about credit card fees. Gwen, you've got the floor.
I did. So we are still trying to finalize the budget, but I've been on board 2 weeks. So, but one of the things is, we're paid $22,000 in credit card fees. And my board president is like, well, we just need to charge the fee and offset that. And then, that'll help us. And he said, all the other chapters do it. And, immediately Warren said, well, in Baltimore said he didn't, but, and I'm blanking on who it was. Somebody also spoke up and said they do. Do people charge credit card fees? And if you do, how do you do that? Okay.
In New Mexico, we pass on the fees to the consumer. So when we do our registration links and all that stuff online, we pass on those fees. It still costs us, 6 cents or 5 cents, but it's not the, $53 on a $1,200 purchase. It's, we do still pay a very minimal on our side, but yeah, we pass along the fees. We're a nonprofit, so that's how we say that we're not paying the fees.
We also do that on the majority of our events. We pass the fee along. To be honest, it's if I remember to click the button of passing the fees on or us absorbing it. 9 times out of 10, I click the button, but yeah, it just adds like a nominal charge to the transaction for the people to pay it. And I haven't had any issues, like no one's had said anything to me about it. Yeah, I haven't had any pushback.
So is that something that's set up through your online payment processor?
Mine is, I can't speak for everyone, but
Okay.
Um, yes, ours is set up through the online payment processor, as well as the online registration page.
So are
We
ours in Louisiana. My board literally voted yesterday to do the opposite. Our board voted to just raise our, whether it's a lunch or whatever it is. They said, look, can you just tack on $5 a ticket so that we don't have to pay, you know, $51.25. Just
interesting.
they actually voted. They said, look, if the fee is normally $50 and then we've been eating it before, can we just they voted just to raise it to 55 to cover each ticket and then just have it come out. They get that we have to absorb the money, but they just decided this go around. They said, look, let's just start, just tack on an extra $5 a ticket or whatever it is to cover the fee.
That's
So
what I
they,
do. I
yeah.
work it into the pricing of the event.
This is Andrea here. I think it depends also what platform you use, because I know a couple meetings back we talked about how some of us use like different registration platforms, but I use Constant Contact, and I agree. I also have started to just let them pay essentially like the Constant Contact fee. But there's also the PayPal fee to account for, which I guess you can also include that in your ticket, like the pricing, but that's something to consider. And it's from what Laura told me, it's usually like 6%. So yeah, I would recommend just adding it on if you want to. It helps with the cost, depending how much the ticket is, it's gonna take some revenue away. So that's me.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought was, do we say that when we set the price, do we say it's $50, but now since we're absorbing the fees, do we say it's 52? But it sounds like it's something that the payment processing platform could add. So, but then if they're doing
Well,
it online, they're going to be paying by credit card no matter what, unless the
well, there you also have to check for the legalities of it. We checked with our chapter attorney. And in New Mexico, and I don't know if it's going to be anywhere else, you have to let them know that 3% or whatever is going towards the processing fees. You can't just charge them $54. You have to tell them it's $50 plus $4 in payment processing fees. But yeah, we checked with the attorney just to see what the legalities of that were. Um, and that's why you see processing fees on all your receipts and stuff. They can't
yeah.
hide it in the cost or the price. So I would personally check with your attorney and figure out what your state's legalities on that are. Because in New Mexico, you can't hide them. You can't, because then it's considered, what do they call it? A delusion or something, so
Deceptive.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
know. I spend a lot of time in Massachusetts, and up there, it's the price is the price, but then if you pay with cash, you get a discount. But
Yeah.
they can't, they can't charge a fee for using a credit card. That's illegal in Massachusetts. So you basically pay a little bit less so they basically raised their prices, but then said if you pay cash, you get it for less.
Nick, what's your question?
I just wanted to clarify how we handle it in Colorado. I mean, it really is a complicated issue. It took us quite a bit to get to where we're at. We do charge for both credit card fees for processing like online payment of dues, and we also charge for constant contact fees for registration for events. PayPal does not actually allow you to pass on the PayPal costs, so you can't, probably for legal reasons because they're an international company. But so you got to watch that, like Andrea is saying. I think one of the big things is the communication. Like what we started is when I started on a year ago, I communicated to all membership that I was committed to the board and to the association to run this like a business and to be very efficient. However, we are a nonprofit, and so understanding that our members can assist us in maintaining profitability, there's actually been some excitement about that. People are happy to do it. I just think it's like if as long as the messaging is clear, then people don't have pushback. We haven't had a single person tell me that they didn't think that it was okay that we were charging fees. But it does get a little complicated, especially when it comes to dues. Like, we have for QuickBooks Online payments, we have check and ACH turned on. And then if they want a credit card, we have to like retract the old, add the fees back on and give them a new invoice. So it's not perfect, but it ends up working out okay for us.
Okay. Yeah, my board president is like, what do you mean it's going to take some time? Just do it now. Just start charging it. And I'm like, oh, dude, don't you run a business? There's logistics. I got to figure out how to implement it and what, like you said, how to communicate it, and now luckily a lot more businesses, it's a lot more commonplace now. So it won't be a shock to people, but the logistics of implementing it legally and, structurally, it's not a just flip the switch type situation.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Gwen, did that answer your question or give you some
Give
information?
me some insight. I think, yeah, checking with the attorney and checking with our payment processing first is probably the best way to go.
Yeah.
So, of course, we are more complicated because we span three
Yeah.
localities, Maryland, Virginia, and DC. So
Right. Yeah.
I got to check with three states. So.
Okay, awesome. Anything else as it relates to credit card fees or anything to do with processing? Alrighty. At this time, we have open discussion. Does anyone have any items they want to discuss or need to discuss?
I had one question. Has anyone contracted with GlueUp?
What's that? Glua?
Yeah, the chapter management software. I know that we have two chapters using it. I can't remember who it is.
I think it was Libby, but I could be incorrect.
I'm
It's
familiar
yeah,
with them.
it's Libby. So Oklahoma's doing it, and North Texas just signed on, and Houston just signed on,
How do you spell
and,
it?
and Arizona.
and
Glue up,
Arizona.
right?
Okay. Glue up, GLUEUP.
Oh, Glue Up.
Mhm.
Got it.
And we did too. We're gonna make the transition January 1, just to make it easy. But I'd be interested to hear my mind really started to go to the payment processing stuff when we were talking about that. So if you have any helpful hints when we're setting everything up over these next few months, do you guys run into anything that we should definitely avoid, or if there's like Larry said, like are there great boxes to check that we got to make sure that we check? Otherwise, we'll be in a
Yes.
world of hurt.
Nick, get with Libby. She's been using it the longest. She was kind of like the guinea pig that started it. And I mean, she's really run the traps on a bunch of it. So she knows the ins and outs, things to watch for, how to work around things, etc. So definitely get with her.
Right, awesome, will do. Yeah, I can't wait to talk her ear off at Excel.
All right. Anything else? Open discussion. Okay.
Can I just say, like, I'm really excited about SubExcel. I think,
Me too.
honestly,
It's very
like,
fun.
Oklahoma has done a good job putting together what looks like an unbelievable agenda and schedule. And, like, there's opportunities for education and connection. And I'm just so pumped to be there with you all. I'm very excited. So I know Libby's not on the call, but thanks to anybody who had part in putting that together. And thanks to National for approving the scholarship for us this year. I don't know. I'm just really excited. I can't wait.
Yay. Oh, good. It's definitely a great time. Honestly, my first year, my first sub Excel was in Las Vegas. I don't know if it was in Las Vegas that made it awesome or sub Excel, but I'm kidding. But it was really fun and it was such a good time, so informational. I just felt like a sponge, just like absorbing all of it. So it's a really great time, especially as a new executive director to just really absorb so much information, get to know more about the National Association as a whole, get to know people like Angie was saying, introduce yourself, just talk everyone's ear off. And everyone's very chatty, very friendly. We have a great time together. There's a lot of alcohol involved, but it's a good time. We all have a really fun time, and it looks like a super cool location. So looking forward to it. All right. If there's not any other questions or any other topics to discuss, we can close it at 11:53. So I hope you guys all have a great afternoon. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Feel free to reply all to our ED Share email and ask around. But thanks. I hope everyone has a great day. We'll see you at SebExcel.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, y'all. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Mia.
Have a good one.
Bye.